Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakudash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawah from the Men of Valor campaign, Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing, it can be edifying. All right, from Reuters, getting right into it. All right, Cuba's national electric grid collapses, reasons unknown. All right, so they've been dealing with some rolling blackouts, but as of today, the entire country of Cuba has been plunged into darkness, man. So you got Havana, July 6th. Reuters, Cuba's national electric grid collapsed on Monday at midday. The country's grid operator said, leaving around 10 million people on the Caribbean island without power. Grid operator UNE said it was investigating the cause of the national blackout. Cuba has for months suffered from hours-long and more recently days-long power outages linked in part to a decrepit grid and the U.S. imposed oil blockade that has cut off the island's fuel supply. So, of course, you got America involved. It says the nationwide outage is more bad news for Cubans already exhausted from rolling blackouts that make it impossible for many to work or sleep in the Caribbean summer heat. Yeah. Cuba has frequently struggled to keep the lights on during a year-long economic crisis, but the communist-run government has entered unprecedented territory under increased pressure from the U.S. President Donald Trump. Nearly two-thirds of this country was already without power when the grid collapsed on Monday. So you already had people that were out, that were already in darkness. All right, these are signs of the times, man. And this also proves that, Jake, all right, hey, those Cubans, that's Jake, man. They catching hell. I want to start off here. We're going to get right into the scriptures because I had already recorded this video. And it only saved the last 3 minutes, man. We deal with these little things, but the word still got to go out. All right. So this is Isaiah chapter 45. In verse 5, it says, I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Right? There's no power but Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 6, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil, and evil means bad times. I, the Lord Yahweh, do all these things. So, the Lord creates darkness. All right. So best believe it was the Lord's sanction for all of Cuba to be plunged into darkness today, man. All right. And that also goes to the curses. All right. The Lord is judging the tribes. The Lord said that judgment must begin at the house of the Lord. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Jake that's in the Northern Kingdom, man, they're heavy into idolatry still to this day. All right. And that's why we ultimately can't, we can't pity them because, hey, the Lord is going to preserve the elect that's, in these situations. All right. But this is a precursor for what the Lord is about to do to America. Okay. The Lord said he forms the light, create darkness, or he forms the light. Yeah, he said he forms the light and create darkness. He makes peace and creates evil. The Lord uses Satan on the left hand side, but ultimately, the Lord has to sign off on it. And as of today, he signed off on it, man. Let's grab this. Deuteronomy chapter 28. In verse 28, it says, the Lord Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And hey, Jake be dealing with all type of mental illnesses, which are just demons, schizophrenia and all that shit, bipolar disorder. Those are demons. Okay. Verse 29, it says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Hey, that's a perfect, example of what's happening to the tribe of Manasseh right now in Cuba. Because it says they got at midday, they got hit with this, the entire damn grid went down. And they had already been dealing with rolling blackouts and shit, but now the whole grid has gone down. So it says, and thou shalt grope at noonday, man. You associate noonday, the highest point where the sun is the highest in the day, noon, midday. It says, as the blind gropeth in darkness. So they're dealing with the heat. They're going to have to deal with crime when it gets dark. And it says, and and thou shalt be oppressed and spoiled evermore. They're already in poverty. And now they have to throw, darkness into the midst. It says, and no man shall save thee. Because Trump definitely not trying to save him. He's trying to crush him, man. But that's going to, we coming to a time where the Lord about to get America. Let's get the account in Exodus where the Lord commanded Moses. Where's it at? Yep. Exodus chapter 10. We're going to get right into it. Let's see. Yep. Verse 21, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. So the Lord has used darkness before, as a judgment, as a plague. And the Lord said he was going to smite Egypt again with plagues as before. But this time it's speaking about spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, where also our Lord was crossed out, crucified. So the Lord was dealing with Moses and he told him to stretch out his hand, to cast out a darkness that may be felt, man. Apparitions, demons in the midst. Verse 22, and Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. And we haven't experienced anything like that, man. It says they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings, and that represented the elect of that time. Hey, because the Lord did all of this for Israel, only for them to still complain and murmur when they got into the wilderness. They wanted to go back to Egypt. And that's why the Lord is only dealing with the remnant this time. Hey, the Lord can have it to where, a situation like this goes down over here, but brothers have light in their dwellings. Okay, because having electricity go out is one thing. Think about it. Our whole lives are tethered to the electrical grid. That wasn't always the case. We didn't always use electricity, but now pretty much everything runs on this electricity. How we preserve our food. Hey, most of us have electric stoves and shit. So if the power goes out, and I remember back when Hurricane Helene hit, I was out of power for 6 days. And after day 3 or 4, everything in your fridge, and freezer goes bad. So then you throw in food instability, man. And the Lord can decide not to turn the lights back on. Why? Because these people here are full of pride. And Jake know how to, adapt and dwell a little more than, these heathen do. But, hey, the Lord going to touch these heathens, man. He going to touch Esau. Your generators aren't going to be able to save you without bringing unwanted attention to your dwelling. All right, the Lord is saving the best for last, man. So let's get this. The Lord said he was going to smite Egypt with plagues as before. 2nd Ezra 15, we're going to go right to the point. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 8. It says, I will hold my tongue, or I'll start at verse 7. It says, therefore, thus said the Lord. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And we play that a lot. of the souls of the just. We're continuing to cry out to the Lord, like, Lord, get this devil out of here. You know, he fucking up the earth. Verse 9, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Right, because Esau about to try to force his sea hip on us, man. You know, and we're like the woman, you know, that cried out when a man tried to take hold of us. You know, there's a law on that, and it's controversial. It's controversial. You know, these other camps want to take it, and it's simply a law. If the woman cries out, all right, then only that man get put to death. But if she don't cry out, she just sit there and take it, then they both getting put to death. Well, hey, that same thing applies here. You know, we're gonna call out to the Lord. Yeah, this devil trying to put a damn sea hip in us, man. He's trying to make us worship his system, his image, and receive his mark, which the Lord straightway commanded us not to receive. So we're gonna call out. So the Lord is going to intervene on our behalf. All right, but the 2/3, man, they're going to be subject to the judgment. Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof. And we just read in Exodus that the Lord commanded Moses to stretch out his hand toward heaven and command a darkness, man, a darkness that could be felt. So if the Lord said he's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before, darkness is very well a plague that the Lord could smite America with, man. A prolonged darkness, a week of the power going out, man. You people will be through in these cities, you know, in the countryside. All right, because if you ever been outside and there's been a blackout and the street lights aren't working, man, it gets dark fast. It gets dark fast, man. Verse 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So, we're in those times, man. But, hey, this Cuba situation is a precursor for what the Lord is about to bring to America, man. We're entering quickly the time of Jacob's trouble. Hell, but you got the Northern Kingdom. They're already in straits. But the Lord is going to turn up that heat, man. The Lord is saving the best for last, which is America, concerning its judgment and its wickedness and the pride of you people. The Lord is going to strip all your pride away. But not to get too long-winded on this, you know, I just wanted to bring this out. Again, you got Cuba that has been plunged, the whole country plunged into darkness. The whole grid collapse. That's coming to America, man. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.